Donald Trump has for some reason decided to center foreign policy in his second term, and as we all know, it hasn't worked out. And why? Because the man is deeply stupid. And that was okay when he was coasting off the coattails of Obama's second term in his first, when he just got to ride the wave of the incredible economy that Barack Obama built. But that is not the case with Donald Trump's foreign policy. He is starting new wars, new conflicts, and he cannot just coast off a previous presidency because he is so stupid and has screwed up that badly. We are going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. And now stupid is something that Marco Rubio admitted Donald Trump is. Donald Trump is a stupid person, and Marco Rubio was caught on camera saying that, exposing that, and then the State Department tried to delete it and roll it all back. We are going to get into it all, but it does begin with Donald Trump's disastrous deal framework of a deal, concept of a deal with Iran that has been leaked and called out by almost every Republican, including Tom Tillis right here. Before we get to Rubio calling his boss dumb.
About this deal, would you support it?
It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not too far away from where Pompeo is, to be honest with you, and I support what Chairman Wicker says. Look, we were told about 11 weeks ago by Hegseth and the Department of Defense that they had obliterated Iran's defenses, and it was just a matter of time before we had the nuclear material. Now we're talking about a posture where we may accept the nuclear material remaining in Iran. How does that make sense at all? Also, a 60-day ceasefire and expecting that they're going to clear the Strait of Hormuz before the terms of the deal are established also seems questionable to me. There are a lot of things that need to be explained. And as I've said before, any agreement with Iran that isn't subject to ratification by Congress is I think, going to be doomed to fail, just like the agreement we're trying to replace, which was the failed agreement by Obama.
Now, I would just like to say for context on Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham and other Republicans saying that this deal doesn't go far enough. This framework of a maybe kind of a deal, and I hope Iran sees this deal, because it's not a real deal, let's just be honest about that. A lot of them are saying that because they want to continue this war. So let's be honest and open first. Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham are always going to advocate not for what's in the best interest of Americans, but for what's in the best interest of Israel. And so if they're pushing back against a deal, it's not just because it's stupid and Donald Trump is a very dumb person who doesn't know how to negotiate. It also could be because they want a continuation of this war, so Israel can pretend it's under threat from Iran in a war that it started, and use that as a pretext to illegally displace 1 million people in Lebanon and continue to kill innocents. That is a very true thing. But we also know that the deal itself is just bad, and Donald Trump's negotiation skills are bad. This post is a very clear example of why Rubio was right to accidentally call Trump stupid. So Donald Trump about an hour ago posted this. A bomb may be a nuclear bomb, I don't know. Just a bomb, with thank you for your attention to this matter. Of course his signature sign-off posted that on Truth Social for no reason. The Hormuz Letter wrote, breaking tokens name. Two sources close to Trump's negotiation team say Trump is now completely backing away from the US-Iran deal under extreme internal pressures from Israel. What a shock. And its US domestic allies urging him not to accept Iran's terms. After this, Trump posted an image of an Amark 84 bomb on a fighter jet with his signature thank you for your attention to this matter. Catchphrase stenciled directly on the bomb. Iran earlier warned already that the agreement will be completely cancelled due to ongoing US obstruction on key clauses. The deal that never existed is now publicly collapsing. So yes, when it comes to foreign policy, Donald Trump has no idea what he's doing and he only ever causes problems for himself. And that is the reason Donald Trump has needed Marco Rubio to fill in for so many jobs. Now that's not to say Marco Rubio is some great statesman, a genius, or an incredible diplomat. I'm certainly not saying that. But Donald Trump has needed support from the person people perceive to be the only adult in the room. And when Marco Rubio was out in the world doing his job, he accidentally slipped up and admitted the truth about his own boss and the idiocracy he has built around him. An administration filled with stupid people continues to cause problems and get in the way of any ability to negotiate a deal. And Donald Trump hasn't only upset the Iranians but also a different group of people. That's why Rubio accidentally called him stupid. Rubio accidentally groups Trump in with stupid people. The President's Secretary of State acted oblivious when cornered on racist comments coming from the US. Marco Rubio seemingly forgot about his own boss's online vitriol as he shrugged off racist comments towards India as nothing more than chatter from stupid people during a press conference in New Delhi. The Secretary of State appeared stunned when a reporter asked him about the endorsement of anti-Indian remarks coming from the US, apparently in reference to a diplomatic scandal last month after Donald Trump shared comments on Truth Social branding India as a hellhole. Who made those comments? Rubio asked. And here's the tweet. Interesting, the State Department seems to have deleted this post. Wonder why, Secretary Rubio? The reporter asked. There's been a lot of racism coming from the US against Indians. What's your response? Rubio said they're a bunch of stupid people. It's only stupid people making those comments. But those comments came from Trump. Rubio went on to promise that he takes that very seriously before appearing to dance around the question. I'm sure that there are people who have made comments online in other places because every country in the world has their stupid people, and our stupidest person is the president. Rubio then praised America's treatment of immigrants, saying, "I don't know what else to tell you other than the United States is a very welcoming country unless you're a person of color." And then, no, that's not the case. The reporter later clarified on Twitter that he had been referring specifically to Trump sharing a post that described India as a hellhole when he asked Rubio about the hate towards Indians, and then he called the people stupid. That's Trump. Trump's the stupid person. Of course, the State Department shared a statement on social media quoting Rubio's response to the question before quickly deleting it because he was referencing Trump. Last month, Trump strained US-Indian relations after sharing a 4-page transcript of comments made by white genocide proponent Michael Savage on his podcast, The Savage Nation. A baby here becomes an instant citizen, and then they bring the entire family in from China or India or some other hellhole on the planet. One expert excerpt from Savage read, as Trump posted on Truth Social alongside branding India as a hellhole. Savage's comments shared by Trump alleged that Indian high-tech workers in California were purposefully not hiring white men into the industry. So, Donald Trump broadly attacks India as a hellhole, and Indian Americans as trying to exclude white Americans from the workforce, specifically in tech. Marco Rubio is asked about those comments, and not knowing any better, directly to the camera, he says people who say that type of stuff are stupid. That's the President of the United States, by the way. And then the State Department had to delete that post because it was obviously in reference to Donald Trump. Now, if you think that guy and these guys can negotiate the end of a war that we shouldn't have been in the first place with no clear objectives or goals, I've got a bridge to sell you that goes nowhere. Because what are you talking about? These are not competent actors. These are not diplomats. And these are not people who take this job seriously. We have had previous statesmen who were able to negotiate ends to wars and nuclear deals. Donald Trump has none of those people in his administration, no matter how much Fox tries to spin it. And they certainly did in this clip that Khanna shut down.
$1.7 billion he told Congress was frozen Iranian assets. Now, there was a back channel to Tehran through Valerie Jarrett, active for 2012 to 2024. This was after he left office. So, it was almost like a shadow government. He also sent pellets of cash in a plane to Iran. Now, why would you send money to Iran knowing that they are building a nuclear weapon and they are the leading sponsor of terrorism?
Barack Obama was a great statesman who left America much safer. I wouldn't put Donald Trump in the same paragraph. The reality is when President Obama left, because of the great efforts of people like Valerie Jarrett, we had 97% of the enriched uranium out. The reality is we didn't have 13 American service members dead. The reality is we never had gas go up from $2.30 to $4. The reality is we did not give China more role in the region. Let me finish, Maria. I'll let you finish.
Okay,
we didn't give China more role in the region. We did not give the IRGC a more hardline regime in there. You know why? Because Obama actually did his homework. He actually tried to engage in statesmanship. He got China, Russia, the entire European allies on board with getting Iran on a path to not having a nuclear weapon. All Trump did is listen to Netanyahu. That's his entire foreign policy. And you know what? I resent the fact that Israel is going to tell the United States what to do. The American president should call the shots in this country.
The American president should call the shots in this country.
This clip is so funny, especially in the context of the $25 billion worth of Iranian assets that Donald Trump supposedly wants to unfreeze. This is a worse deal. He is getting a worse deal, and it's not even a deal. Like, we don't even know what this is. And yet Republicans continue to cheer on Trump and say he's doing a great job, that he knows what he's doing, and the woke left is just upset with him. But no, Donald Trump dragged us into this war on behalf of Israel. He's only going to end it if it makes Israel happy, and Americans are getting screwed all along the way. But what is Mike Johnson doing to spin this? Making it worse and making himself look ridiculous.
Let's just talk politics here. What does this mean for you and the midterms? Because I know this consumes your thoughts a lot.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Obviously, we've done a lot of work. The Big Beautiful Bill, the Working Families Tax Cut, all of our legislation has been geared towards the cost of living, affordability, bringing the cost of living down. We put in all those conditions in the economy to let it take off like a rocket, and we were doing that at the beginning of the first quarter, and then the Iran skirmish began. So when this settles out, gas prices come back down to earth. That means your grocery prices come down again because of transport costs and all the rest. It's going to be a big factor. The kitchen table issues are going to decide the midterms.
Can those things come down in time to help you out in the midterm?
Yes, we got plenty plenty of runway. We have better candidates. We have a fundraising advantage. We're super excited about the midterms. I'm absolutely convinced that we're going to grow the majority and we'll get this done and make history.
Oh, so now it was just a little skirmish that we had to get involved in. We got dragged into it. It just happened accidentally. No, we started this war. Now, of course, we only started this war because we do what Israel tells us to. Because they have bought out our government, full of people who have just paid up on the AIPAC tab, or there are Christian Zionists who are completely living in a different reality than the one we currently occupy. But no, Donald Trump is a stupid person. Marco Rubio was right to say that in front of the cameras. The State Department was wrong to delete it, because that's a fact. That should be in the record. We are going to continue to call it all out on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments.